What's going on, Chiefs fans? What is up? Welcome back to Over 50. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, like it, comment down below. Love to hear what you have to say on this topic. Share this video with friends and fellow Chiefs fans out there. And today I'm going to talk about what I think Kansas City needs to do with the draft and just to go ahead and get things ready so we can make another Super Bowl run. So first thing I wanted to show you here, this is over the cap, showing the Chiefs cap situation. They're about top 10 of, from in the top 10 of having the most cap space. So they're not down in cap purgatory down here like some of these other teams. But as we all know from watching the Rams, the cap can be manipulated. So I wanted to move on to talking about what do we do with the positions of need. Obviously, we need an edge. We need a corner depth. We need wide receiver help. I mean, those are three areas I think we all can without argument say we need to address. And some might even say, safety too. However, I think if you have to roll the dice with Reed and Thornhill, I think you could be in worse off situations. So it just got me started thinking. So let's just take the James Bradbury thing. Stefan Gilmore is out. Okay. So Stefan Gilmore is no longer a viable option for the Kansas City Chiefs. But James Bradbury is out there, and we know the Giants want to deal James Bradbury. Now, the Giants, they want a third-round pick for James Bradbury. But more importantly, the Giants don't want to cut him. I think the Giants would take a fourth-round pick for James Bradbury. And if you look at what we've got this year, Kansas City has 12 draft picks. Okay, that's too many draft picks to actually just stay where you're at and draft all 12 of those players. Okay. Kansas City needs to take some of those picks, maneuver around. And I think Kansas City should deal a fourth-round pick to the Giants. Toss it out there, see if they'll take it. And what I wanted to show you is let's look at Stefan Gilmore's stats from last year. Now, Stefan Gilmore, he signed a $23 million. I had that pulled up, and I don't know exactly where it was. I think I probably closed it out. But Stefan Gilmore signed a 2-year, $23 million deal with $14 million guaranteed. I do remember the numbers correctly. I'm not Rain Man or nothing, but you can go back and look at it. So let's look at his stats for last year. You can see he played only 9 games. So what I'm going to do is he played in 8 games. So I'm going to be nice and double his stats. So let's say he only had 2 interceptions. He didn't force any fumbles. He had 16 tackles, 1 assist, 1 tackle for loss. Okay. So let's double those numbers. Let's say he had 4 interceptions. Let's say he had 4 passes defensed. Okay. Now let's look at James Bradbury playing with the Giants, played 17 games, 4 interceptions, 17 passes defensed. Okay. 1 fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 47 combined tackles, 37 solo. Let's look at those stats. Just look at them. And I know Stefan Gilmore only played half the time. So let's just double those. Double the passes defense to 4 and the interceptions to 4. And then look at what James Bradbury did. Interceptions 4, 17 passes defensed. Take a third round pick, fourth round pick, deal it for James Bradbury. Problem solved. Yes, I understand. He's in the last year of his deal. He's due about $13 million and change. Okay. So you restructure a deal with him. No problem. You move along your way. So cornerback is solved. Now we need to look at what we do with the edge. Okay. And I know some people aren't going to be this isn't going to be a very popular topic, but Jadeveon Clowney is out there. Now, obviously, if you go the James Bradbury route, then Clowney, I think, comes off the table unless, Brett Veach can really manipulate the cap. And then if you could get both those guys in, I'll give you a scenario for what we could do with draft picks then. But if you go and you get Jadeveon Clowney, look what he did last year in 14 games, 9 sacks, 24 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. Now, I already hear somebody saying, but he was lined up across from Myles Garrett. What do you expect? Okay. All right. Fair enough point. But you put Jadeveon Clowney on that line with Chris Jones and with Frank Clark, and you're going to get some production out of Jadeveon Clowney. I like the James Bradbury idea better, but there's that option, okay? Now, let's get into draft picks. And I'm just going to start this one out just in case anyone cared. There's only one player from the state of Kansas that even went to the combine. Only one guy that has a chance of being drafted. His name's Kyron Johnson. You can see his prospect grade. He's probably going to be one of those free agent signings, you know. So anyhow, just wanted to put that out there. So I'll close that because I'm not going back to that again. Now, then I wanted to show you some players that I think the Chiefs should look at. But before we do that, I think the Chiefs should take their first 2 draft picks. And if you don't go with Jadeveon Clowney, then you have to get an edge rusher. Okay. So you trade up for, Karlaftis out of Purdue. Okay. Or you can, the guy that, blew out his knee. I haven't had a chance to research all these guys. He didn't blow out his knee, but, he's got a knee issue. You can trade up and go get an edge rusher. That's what I think the Chiefs should do with their first 2 picks. Okay, because remember, we got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 2 fourths. Okay. Let's say we gave up a third or a fourth for the James Bradbury thing. We still got plenty of picks to play with. Okay, and then you can have fun with 7th round picks. Pick whoever you want. Pick a project. Okay, but here are some guys I would like to see the Chiefs entertain with possibly the 3rd or 4th round picks that they have left. This is James Cook. This is Dalvin's brother. Now, is he Dalvin Cook? No, I'm not trying to say he is. But if you watch some of his tape, he is a big, hard runner. And if you look at some of his combine results, he runs a 4.40. That's not bad. Vertical jump, broad jump. But this guy can catch the ball out of the backfield. Look at this play. Okay. The reason why I'm showing this to you is because James Cook did most of his damage out of the backfield. You imagine him in the backfield with Patrick Mahomes, stay in the block or chips on a defensive end, out into the flat, give him the ball, and let him go to work. Okay. Here's a player I'd like to see Kansas City, have on their board, with the option to maybe take with that with one of those 3rd or 4th round picks. I don't think a 2nd round pick, he's worthy of that. I think he's definitely a 3rd round guy or beyond. Now, you hear everyone talking about, Tyreek Hill. How are you going to replace Tyreek Hill? You can't replace Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is so good. Well, let me just show you a couple guys that I don't think are really getting as much credit as they deserve. Now, we all know this is a deep wide receiver draft. So keep in mind that I'm under the philosophy that we're going to try to get edge help in the 1st round because it's wide receiver deep. Okay. And we already have Scantling. We already have Juju. We've got Travis Kelce. We've got the Jet. We've got Mecole Hardman. Okay. So I don't think we need to go wide receiver in the 1st round. If we can trade up, get an edge rusher, I think that's where we go. But take a look at Jalen Tolbert. Now, he's coming out of South Alabama. All right. That's not very good competition. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Remember this guy? I think we all remember this guy. He came out of West Alabama. Okay, let me go back to this because I just gave away something I wanted to point to. But Jalen Tolbert, he has just been tearing it up. And I made some notes here and I texted them to myself. But if you look at Jalen Tolbert, just look at his Tennessee game. 7 catches, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. Okay. And you look at his other tape, the guy looks good on tape. And I'm more of a believer in, I'd like to see what can they do? What do they do in the game? I don't give a care whether, they can run fast or not. Yes, I understand that's important. You can't cheat speed, blah, 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 blah. But I want to see how it translates into playing the game. And you come to think he averaged 122.8 yards per game. That was the 3rd best in FBS. 3rd best yards receiving per game. Okay. So say what you want to. Okay. He plays at a small school. He's 6'1", 195. He's got good hands. He's got good arms. So he can easily get off. He should be able to get off of blocks. Is he a burner? No. 4'4". But he's a guy that has some speed. Okay. Now, if you look at some of these, and I don't know exactly, they say he's a comparison to Marvin Jones. Well, heck, if he compares to Marvin Jones and you knew that was going to happen, you take him immediately. But you look at, some of his strengths. He fights through grabby coverage. His routes, he runs good routes, okay? Now, look at some of his weaknesses, okay? Notice that there's only 5 of them. Thank God, he's got a whole lot of strengths. He's got, 10, 11, 12 strengths? Only 5 weaknesses. Undisciplined drops at times. That's fixable. Would like to see better success through the catch. That's fixable. That's you can teach that. Can improve deep ball positioning against physical corners. Again, you can teach that. That's you learn that in the NFL. Could use more fire in his belly on every snap. Well, that's something that will come with time. Gains positioning, but doesn't always finish the block. All of that stuff, these weaknesses, all of those can be taught and fixed. Okay. Now, the next guy I wanted to point out is a guy from Baylor, Tyquan Thornton. Now, this guy is fast. Okay. 4.28 40. Okay. So he can move. All right. He's got some speed. He's got some jets. He's 6'3", 182, small hands. That's the only thing I don't like about this guy. Okay. Small hands. But if you look at some of his, accolades in college. Okay. He ran the 4.28 40. We see that. He has the second most touchdowns in the second most touchdowns in 2021 with 12. Okay. And he was the fastest wide receiver at the combine. This is your fastest wide receiver. What I think Kansas City should do is you look at wide receiver in rounds 2 and 3. I don't know that I would take Tyquan Thornton in rounds 2 or 3. I might see if he would wait until if he's available in round 4. Okay. Look at some comparisons. Compares to Tyquan Underwood. I don't know how I like that comparison. Now, this guy, he's got more to work on. I mean, you can see the weaknesses there. He's almost got twice as many. All right. He's got a good sprinting background. He's got good productivity. On the tape, he looks pretty good. Okay. The tape is full of route separation right there. Okay. He's tougher than his frame might indicate. Sticky hands with a good plus catch radius. Okay. Weaknesses. He's thin. He's probably not going to bulk up. Okay. Well, we know some guys that are thin and, haven't bulked up and, they played before. I mean, it's not something that, has never happened. Strong press coverage could eliminate them for the game. Okay. So you teach them how to deal with that. Hands are small. Well, you can't do anything about that. I mean, his hands aren't going to grow. Linear release gets redirected and slowed. You can fix that. Entire route tree will not be available to him. Well, not at first, but you fix some of these other things and it will be. Okay. All right. Now, if I could keep going on and on about this, but I'm trying to make this video somewhat short. What I wanted to do is I wanted to show you something. Remember this guy I pointed out earlier. Okay. Look at the prospect grade they had on him. 5.10. Okay. 5.10. Now, if you come down here to the grades, it's not even listed. Okay. I mean, he, by all, if you look at the grades, he should have been, instead of a 5th round pick, we took him, he should have been a priority free agent. Okay. Now, you can't see any of his data from the combine because, this is old and I'm surprised I was able to find this, but you can see we picked him in round 6. I think if we can get our hands on Jalen Tolbert or Tyquan Thornton or heck, even both. Imagine package both picks together, go up and get your edge. Boom. Now, this is all considering you got the James Bradbury thing situated. Then you got 2 picks in the second round. You go get Jalen Tolbert. Great. If you want to, go get some safety help. Go get another corner. Get a corner in the draft. I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. Okay. But I definitely think that these are some guys that Kansas City should take a look at. And then I just pulled this up on the James Bradbury trade. There's been interest in Bradbury, with some speculating the Giants could get a 3rd round pick. It appears other teams are trying to wait the Giants out since it's clear they are moving on. They're moving on from this guy. So I really think that would be the way for Kansas City to go. But anyhow, this video has probably gone a lot longer than It needed to, but I hope you stayed. I hope you watched it. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments. If you think, my ideas are garbage, hey, post it. If you've got some other ideas, let's, get some conversation going back and forth. But Kansas City, I think, is in a good place. I like what Dan Orlovsky said on ESPN. This is going to be a defining draft for the Chiefs for years to come. If we have a bunch more Super Bowls in the future, it's going to be because of this draft. Stephen A. Smith, he's garbage. He's an idiot. I don't listen to him. He says, I'm not impressed. Not impressed. They have 12 picks. Okay. Yeah, no one's really impressed with you, so you can shut up. But anyhow, love to hear what you have to say. Again, if you're new, hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment down below. And the draft is getting closer and closer every day. So Chiefs fans, we don't have Tyreek anymore, but I think Brett Veach pulls this draft off and we'll be just fine. So until next time, Chiefs fans, take it easy. Later.